Let us start the discussion on structure and modes of communication. So, this is a continuation of our previous slides, previous videos on communication. So, we have to look into the structure and the different modes of communication, what is being used in corporate communication. Then, first question is, what is corporate communication? As we know, the communication is a sending of information or some message. In corporate communication, it is a total communication of all the activity which is used or generated in a company or a body or an institute or in a public. So they have some planned objective and they try to achieve the planned objective through different communication. So the total communication activity, whatever is done inside a company or a institute or a public or a body corporate, then you call it as a corporate communication. So when you talk about corporate communication, there are two sources. So one is internal source and another one is external source. Internal source, we talk about the stakeholders like employees, their customers, shareholders, stockholders. So the people who are directly involved with the affairs of the company, internal management. Then regarding the externals with respect to the government policy, industries or education institutions or the communication which is made with the general public or their channel partners or their agency. So this is the between both the things. Now when we look into the structure of communication, we spoke about the internal communication, external communication. So when we talk about the human relations, this human relation is a very important concept when we talk about the communication. So as we know, the messages or the data and information what is being sent. So it can be in the form of action, thoughts or feelings or intentions. So that particular information is being sent as a message, and that particular message can be in the form of a semantic communication or a sender noise. Then we have to select the message, the meaning, what we have interpreting from that particular thing. Then we have encoding, then transmitting the data through the signals or some channels. So we have choice and noise. Then we get the signals, that is receiving the message, then decoding, then selecting the meaning of the particular information what has been passed. Then we receive receiving information and we try to resend or refer the particular information. So this is how the human relations works in the internal communication system. So with the help of public relations. And in case of external communication, we have with respect to marketing communications, that is trying to promote your product or trying to advertise your products. Then in human relations, we talk about crisis management. So how do we use communication during crisis, and the public relations with respect to external relations and the aid policy of the particular. Now this is the structure or the process of communication. So as we know, the message is being sent. So it can be in a very different way, whether the message can be excellent or good, average or poor, very poor, whatever the message we receive, that is the sender. Then the message is being in the, if you look at this, we can see how the message is being done from this particular point or that is the sender. It is being received through the message is being sent, and through the medium it is being received and the receiver, then he gives a response. There is a channel or a semantic or the noise. So this is how the particular process of communication is being done in any organization. So when you talk about this, we have to talk about the communication process. So first one is the source or the sender. So the communication cannot be originated from a thing. So there is need a source. So even there is then there is a no coding also, still we have a communication process. And whenever the message is being transmitted to the channels, so that is what is called as sending the message or the source of sending the message. So the message is what we try to send, that is being prepared and transmitted through a signal. So from that signal, it is composed of a systematic group of signals. So each signal has its own set of meaning or a conventional usage. How do we use it? Or we can take it as a complete set of symbols or a coding or a language. So the encoding language, sometimes it is defective or even sometimes it is not correct, the meaning does not give the total thing, but there is a chances of such occurrence also. So without any intervention process it is not possible. And next one is the message. So message is like what we call it as some information which is passed. So one person is sending the message and another person is receiving the message. So there are two sides of a message, and that is whatever has been sent by the sender can be understood in a different manner or the same manner by the receiver. So there are more chances of both the cases. And the information source, whatever information has been sent, that information source has different meanings. So we have to look into the alternative meanings also. So when we route any information, we have to see whether the particular information what we are passing is having the same meaning by the receiver also. And we have to talk about the selecting from alternative possible meanings. We have lot of meanings. Suppose there is some uncertainty about the messages, we have to find out and we have to see whether there is a impact of any uncertain information. So in that case we can even raise a question concerning dilemma. So whenever we design the communication system, we have to look into uncertainty information also. So that is very important in that case. Then the perception, how do we influence the perception? So we know perception or this perceptual mechanism, it tries to influence the way how the particular information is being encoded and decoded. So we use symbols like objects, even symbols are used. So we try to have that as a signal. So the person who is receiving and he will be decoding the message has to assign some meaning. So the message what we send is in form of a signal, so that particular signal will have some meaning, and that meaning can be interpreted by a different person in a different sense. So we should be very clear when we try to influence the perception. So next one is a channel noise. So we know noise is perhaps the best thing which is defined in the perceived signal. So if it is not there in the original message, then it can be like a tone what we use, like raising your tone or some distortion or image, or sometimes even there can be error in transmitting the information, what information we are trying to send. So noise is nothing but it is an input which is sent into the channel, and it is always the case. So noise also can be introduced at the source or the encoder, even the decoder situation, or receivers, or by both the points. So noise is a result of a semantic or it is like a perpetual differences which occurs in the terminal where we are using that communication. Then next point is channel redundancy. That is redundancy is nothing but it is a condition where we have some superflows or like unnecessary interruptions, or there is a more requirement of things. So channel redundancy is another way how do we deal with the channel noise. Sometimes when the noise is very great and any meaningful communication we have to not able to understand, then we have to choose the alternative backup for the channel. Then regarding the same with respect to language. So languages, we use some words which needs more grammatical accuracy, syntax or etymology error. That is how do we coin a word, how do we use a word. So all these things are to be understood, and we have to find out the limit or a feature, or that is how we are using it in the signal, like structuring it. That is important. And in English also we have to be very clear with respect to the percentage of 50% of redundancy, because we only sometimes select not the full word. So for example, advertisement we use ADVT, but the full term is advertisement. So we have to use such things also. Then problems with redundancies, sometimes with the language can also become a burden in process of communication. So we have to understand whether it is individual or the groups, which is convenient in order to eliminate some such problems like cumbersome problems which is with respect to understanding the language or communicating in a particular language. With respect to receiver, when we receive the particular information, the channel end, that is decoding the transmission of thing, and after receiving the signal back into message, we have to use some coding, that is we have to select a meaning, particular meaning, and we have to find out. So finally the message what we receive will become the output of the particular signal what has been sent. So we have to store that particular information, and we have to decode the information and also selecting the receiving end. So there are some constraints in understanding it or the interrelationship with respect to encoding and selecting and the transmitting it. So each process is having some interlink between each other. So this is what we have discussed. So we have with respect to process, the sender, so the context of what they are sending, so then the encoding, then we have the message here refers to the channel, then decoding, then the receiver, then the feedback, and the noise what we have discussed now. So we have to understand the process in which way. But when you talk about noise, there are some semantic and noise and semantic receivers. So we know what is semantic, that is whenever we mean with the meanings of a particular words or signs, meanings behind some signs we have. Like we use some phonetic languages or some sounds or some diphthongs, all that. That is the base for some coding system. So we even sometimes use symbols, sound symbols, and that will become signals for certain messages, and that can be transmitted through the channels. But problem will be there where when we try to emerge the receiving terminal, that is different, and when we are sending it in a different terminal, then the sound will have different interpretation. So that is the reason for semantic distortion, and this is more usually what happens is when we send such information, so then there is a coding failure, because this is with respect to the particular sound variation what we have from the sender to receiver. So the failure, why there is a failure is maybe we don't have selected a particular proper channel, we have selected a poor channel, or sometimes we have some emotional state of mind or the perpetual set. So that are the reasons for semantic noise and semantic receivers. Then regarding the problems with the semantic, suppose when we use some of the words like what are the messages we should send. So when we are sending, we have to have a blueprint for the communication process. Suppose when we don't have a blueprint, we cannot understand. Even we are sending some messages which is having multiple meanings. So when multiple messages and multiple things, this is also sometimes incidentally happening, because the language what we use, we should be very careful, and the atmosphere. Sometimes we use some abrasive language, or we are not having some ability to communicate, or we don't have an interpersonal relationship with the communicator. So there are some like things, even somewhat symbolic meanings also is there. So these are the problems what we face. Regarding the feedback, we have to talk about the communication. So first we have to open the feedback channel, and we have to get the examples. Then we have to give the result, that is sensitive to presenting the feedback, and we have to give a better face-to-face channels also, and technical capability and the ability to convey the meaning are the successful stories which will have for communication process. Now this is with respect to the structure of the external communication. So we have the internal relations, professional relations, crisis management as we saw in the human relations, consumer relations, then we have the media relations, then aid policy, financial relations, public affairs and issue management. So these are the things which are with respect to the structure of the external communication. So we have to look into this, that is the relationship with what we have in the industry, ethics. Now we have taken the sample structure for corporate communication. So we have chairman, then president, then we have different departmental vice presidents or functional departments. Then we have the vice president for corporate communication. So they will be giving us some information with respect to market communication, or the relationship with the media, or director investor relations. So in order to look into the communication of the stakeholders or the shareholders, then they have the communication strategy with respect to director, that is employee communication, or the community relations they maintain within the organization. So this is the sample structure for communication. Now we will look into the what are the three things which is important. So first one is how do we present, that is a presentational technique, and interpretive, that is how do we interpret things, and interpersonal. So presentational, we are like speaking, even we can sometimes have a visual experience, so visually representing, or through symbols, or through some other graphs or charts also we can use in the form of presentation. And writing is another form of presentational skill. Then next one is interpretive, is with respect to how do we listen to it, how to grasp it, or how to judge it. So that is a listening skill. Reading, the speaking one, then reading, then writing. Then regarding the reading, writing, and listening, viewing, that is the how do we interpret, that is very very important. So that is what I told you, when you send some information, how that it has different messages and meanings, that is very very important. Then the interpersonal is with respect to listening, speaking, or reading and writing. So these are the skills we have with respect to interpersonal communications. Next one is this is the three modes what we use for communications. So first one is interpersonal mode. As I told you, nowadays the students are engaging in conversation, they provide and obtain information, even they express their feelings, emotions, and try to exchange their opinions. Now regarding interpretive mode, we have already seen with respect to that, that is how do we student try to interpret and written and spoke about a particular language on various topics. So some assignment is given to the students and asked to talk about it or write about it. So that is an example for interpretive. So they, how do they infer the idea what they have. Then the presentation mode is how they present the information, that is the concepts they have, their ideas they have, how do they attract the audience, or how do they pacify the readers on various topics. So these are the three modes. So first one is, as we know, it is interpersonal mode, and this is active, oral, or written communication in that particular mode, which tries to make the participants negotiate the meaning, that what is being inferred from the particular communication. Interpretive is they read from the text, or the listen to it. Then presentation is through written or oral, and the presentator, what he does it must take into the account the impact, what will be the audience look into. So now I am talking to you through this channel, and how do my students understand, that is how do they get information. So this is one, because the problem is there is no feedback. That's why I am asking you to put your comments on your comment section. So this is another thing, so that for your example to understand three modes of communication. Interpersonal, so there is a relationship between person and person, and they try to have a spontaneous communication. So that communication can be in the form of speaking or writing. Then when you talk about interpretive, so there is a receptive, so we try to receive the information, we communicate, and we present in the form of listening, then reading, then viewing. How do we view things? Presentation is by through drafting or editing, even producing communication through speaking. Or so interpersonal communication is nothing but it is an exchange of your communication between speakers who are in your personal contact. That's why I say the relationship what we maintain, interpersonal relationship. Here we are trying to involve the language. So interpreting and producing language, the real meaning, that is a negotiation of the meaning, real time meaning. Then the presentational communication is, as we know in presentation, we use a formal presentation of information and ideas in a spoken and written form. So the communication is one way, speaking and writing. And we use this non-visual language, that is the learners. What they do is they try to produce written and spoken language, and they have some patterns, the learned patterns. So from that they infer the information. And even sometimes over time students, what they do is they have novel structures, that is they are giving some authenticated. So interpretive communication, what we do is it is listening. So it is one way listening, reading, and does not require any response or reaction in real time. So through some information you are getting it. So we may be familiar or unfamiliar with the context, or is what has been discussed. So we have two things. So presentation, what are the things we do, and interpretive, what we do. So in presentation style we use speaking or writing. We try to create a message. So creating of message, or you are trying to have knowledge of the audience perspective. So there is no direct opportunity for active negotiation of the meaning. So we are just giving the information through writing or speaking. But in interpreter we are trying to listen and read the information. So in presentation we are trying to create the message, but in interpreter we are trying to interpret what is the meaning of it, that is interpretation of message. We try to understand what is the notion of the sender, the creator's perspective. We try to understand, and here also there is no direct opportunity for the active negotiation of meaning.